Hello, and welcome to From Upside Down to Right Side Up, Tips for the Transition. I'm Maria Tomás-Keegan, your host, and this is my continuing interview series with brilliant, resilient women who have stories of transformation to tell and to inspire us. And they're courageous enough to come here and tell it to us now. Today, I am thrilled to introduce you to my next guest, Carrie Severson. Her story is about a big dream, one she's held and nurtured and pursued for a long time. And through that journey, she just couldn't get the right doors to open for her. We call this episode Dare to Dream a New Dream. Hello, Carrie.
Hi.
I'm so excited to have you here to share your story with us because so many of us have dreams that seem to shatter and we don't know what to do with ourselves when that happens. So would you share your story with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've always been in the publishing business. I started writing for magazines when I was 19 in college at Arizona State. And I came out of college really wanting to make an impact in female stories. I took an anthology class in college and we focused on female literature from early 19th century to modern day. And I fell in love with so many stories and the storytellers. And it was at that point, I was 19, I realized I wanted to not only just be inundated with this business, I wanted to one day be one of those authors that impacts other women 20 years later. So I got involved in journalism, started writing for magazines, newspapers, and figured out a way to make a business sharing stories. For those of you who do know, I started a nonprofit in 2011. Or maybe you don't. I started a nonprofit in 2011. It caught on fire. We had a nonprofit after-school program for girls that was sold to other nonprofits, and we trained facilitators around the country. I didn't have the tools at that time to manage the expansiveness that took place in my life and in the business at that point. So I hit burnout pretty hard. And to heal, I went back to my roots of storytelling. So I started writing for the Huffington Post and sharing, entrepreneurship experience. And I went back to that dream of being involved in the book business, that I want to write something that inspires women, who are in their teens. So I spent the last 4 years writing a book called The Unapologetic Voice. I changed my brand. I launched a podcast. I started a Facebook group. And really, it's the story of finding success and self-love on our own terms. So I started pitching literary agents in 2015 and was turned down consistently. I was told things like, you have to have a bigger platform, you have to have more followers. So I spent a year doing that and went back and pitched more agents. And then it was, you're in a very saturated industry. You want to write something in the self-help category, in the spiritual category, which unless you're coming in with 100,000 followers, no one's going to take a risk on you. So I recently, within the last 6 months, decided if no one is going to take a risk on me, I'm going to take a risk on me. I want to be that person that actually brings in projects and acts as the publisher and the agent for other women. So that's what I'm doing. I'm launching a publishing, my own publishing brand. And it really came because I couldn't find the right person to take a risk on my dream of having a book published in the traditional sense. And after a lot of self-reflection, I was like, all right, here we go. I'm going to do this.
That's just amazing and so inspiring, Carrie, that you were able to take all of that rejection
Mm-hmm.
and what we're going to get into the meat of those emotions that you went through in our next segment, but I'm just so inspired that you were rejected so many times, and when you heard the reason, you went and did something about that to kind of correct that for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got more reasons why they wouldn't take the risk on you.
Right.
And I love that you stepped up to it and said, well, if nobody else out there is going to do it, I'm going to dare to dream a new dream.
Mm-hmm.
And are deciding to do it for yourself. I'm very inspired by that.
Thank you.
And I believe that, I'm sorry?
I said, me too. As you're saying, like, that feels really good.
I can tell by the smile on your face that it feels good.
Yeah.
I believe that dreams and our visions for a brighter future are what help us put one foot in front of the other each and every day. But the feelings that you must have gone through, Carrie, when you dealt with that rejection. And I know when we've talked in the past, you also talked about abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for you to take a deeper dive into those emotions that were part of your journey, so that we can understand how we can move through them with more ease and grace. Would you do that in the next segment with us?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So everyone stay tuned for our next segment with Carrie. Until next time, I'm Maria Tomás-Keegan.